Hi, welcome to the NFNLP members area where we're going to be talking about some up-and-coming techniques, some different techniques, and some old techniques that we're going to bring out and do it again for you to review and analyze again. Again, it's always my joy to teach NLP techniques to anyone because NLP not just saved my life, it gave me a life worth living. And so the first technique I'd like to teach is one of my favorites. Of course, every time I teach an NLP technique, I always go, it's one of my favorites. But this one is one of the ones that you can use easily just about everywhere that you go and whatever that you're doing. I call it the Bill Clinton technique. And what the Bill Clinton technique is, it's based on how Bill Clinton could get such rapport with people in groups or one-on-one. And what he did, it's very simple to use the NLP terminology. He would elicit a state in his target, whoever he happened to be talking to, by describing it. And then once he had that person in the state, or as he was describing it, he would make these motions. He would touch his tie. I don't have a jacket on. He would touch his tie, adjust his tie, rub his chin, sometimes even just go like this. So if he's talking to somebody about what's important to you in a candidate, and you said honesty and integrity, you know, that's very interesting. I can really appreciate honesty and integrity because it's important to me also. And then he could do that. And what happens, the way your neurology works, and this is what makes NLP so powerful, what makes it work so well is in your brain when you're accessing that state, whatever it happens to be, in this case, comfort or trust, and you're talking to this person and there's a little bit of rapport, what begins to happen is you will attach it to that person, especially if you're doing these energetic motions. And one of the ones he does, which is very energetic, is this motion like this, and he almost at a heart-to-heart level. And if you make it normal or natural, so you're going like, you know, I can appreciate that, you know, and then touch your tie. And then bring attention to your face in some way, touch your chin, stroke, do something like that. It's going to overlay your image with that feeling. So it becomes overlaid a little bit. Will it work 100% of the time? No. But it begins to bring up that feeling of trust and security or comfort when you're talking to a person. Now, what's interesting about this, you can do it in big groups, you know, because you can say some generalities. Again, this is what Bill Clinton did. Those of you who've been to my training know I always talk about in 1996 when he was running for re-election. He came from behind the podium. His opponent, Bob Dole, was behind the podium over there. But he made this motion. He stood there and he went, you know, America is booming right now. I can't take credit for all the good things that are happening in America. And then he just listed, these were statements of fact. If you were in the audience and you were politically aware in 1996, you know, there was peace, there was prosperity, there were good times, all the stuff that was going on, he was linking it to him. But then he did something even more brilliant. He went, I can't take credit for all the good things that are happening right now. I have to give some credit to my esteemed colleague, and he points to Bob Dole, which was brilliant. But then what he did, which he took it to the next level. After he did all this, then he went, but ladies and gentlemen, we still have problems. And then he listed problems by going, yeah, whatever it was. We still have problems in this country. We have drug addiction, teenage pregnancy, things like that. And but he was pointing, like this, he was pointing at his opponent. So it's kind of interesting to watch. And again, you could do this in a group if you're teaching a group when you talk about what's important to you. And as they elicit it, you could do this with all kinds of things. I always say, I see people do it with loyalty. They'll be talking to a group and, you know, let me ask you a question. I can ask you if you're watching this video right now. Is loyalty important to you? You know, is loyalty important to you? Do you like loyalty? In other words, do you feel good when someone's loyal to you? Yeah, you do. And are you loyal to a person, place, or thing? Whether it's your partner, your business, your spouse, your kids, an ideal. Are you loyal? And why are you loyal, right? Well, you're loyal because that loyalty makes you feel good, right? You feel good when you're loyal to that person, place, or thing. And that loyalty comes back, you know, because to have loyalty toward you, you need loyalty toward people, places, and things that really enjoy it, or not enjoy it, but that deserve it. And what I want you to do is realize that, because, you know, it really boils down to one of my favorite sayings is, you know, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And then just keep going. Now, what I did there is I was eliciting a state. I anchored it to myself. And then I did a little loop that had absolutely nothing to do with it about go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And people go, oh, that's a cute state. Well, once they're thinking about that on this level, they're not thinking about what you just did over here, which gets a chance to settle in even deeper, right? It's another, in a future little post here, I'll be talking about how to use humor in the same kind of situation. So again, I call it the Bill Clinton technique. I feel your pain. Let me help you. So what you do is you elicit the state in the person by describing it or saying how it is when you enter into that state, or ask them. And then just agree with them and make these motions as you're doing it. And it begins to help speed up that natural rapport, which we're going to be going more into deeper rapport and how, whether you want deep rapport or wide rapport, which will probably be the very next podcast. So thank you for joining me, and I wish you the best.